Some stories about famous people feel polished. They feel like they've been run through a machine. The edges are sanded off. The person becomes a character, an icon, a myth. And we forget they were just a person. They're a person who got bored, a person who liked to laugh, a person who sometimes acted like a big kid. This is one of those stories, it's not about the myth, it's about the person. It's about a moment when the professional mask slipped and a real human being showed through. It's about a prank, a silly, childish prank that happened in front of thousands of people and was captured on tape for everyone to hear. It's about how one of the most famous singers in the world completely, utterly, and joyfully ruined one of his most serious songs. To understand why this moment happened, you have to understand where he was in his life. The year was 1969. He was back. After a decade of making movies, some good, many not so good, he had returned to live performing. The '68 comeback special had reminded everyone who he was. He wasn't just a movie star with a guitar. He was a force of nature, raw energy, charisma that could power a small city. So, he went to Las Vegas, the International Hotel. He put together a killer band, the TCB Band, which stood for Taking Care of Business. He had an orchestra. He had backup singers. He wore the iconic jumpsuits. He was the biggest star on the planet, playing in the biggest city for entertainment. The shows were events. They were slick. They were powerful. They were professional. And maybe, just maybe, they were a little repetitive. Night after night. The same stage. The same songs, mostly. The same adoring crowds reaching for a scarf, a touch, a glance. For a guy who grew up wild and unpredictable, a guy who changed the world by moving his hips, routine could feel like a cage. A beautiful sequined cage, but a cage nonetheless. He was a prisoner of his own success. He was expected to be the king every single night. That's a heavy crown to wear. And the king was a prankster. This is a part of his story that often gets left out of the official biography. He had a deep-seated, almost compulsive need for humor. Not just telling jokes, but creating moments of chaos. He loved to shake things up, to see people's reactions when the script was thrown out the window. He was a kid from Tupelo, Mississippi, who never quite grew up, and that was a huge part of his charm. His friends, the Memphis Mafia, knew this all too well. They were his entourage, his protectors, his buddies. And they were often his targets. He would have water pistol fights in hotel suites that were so intense they ruined the furniture. He loved setting off firecrackers, sometimes in the middle of a serious conversation, just to see people jump. He'd hide behind a door and leap out, making a goofy face. He'd rent out an entire amusement park or a movie theater after hours, just so he and his friends could ride the roller coasters or watch movies and throw popcorn at each other, free from the public eye. This wasn't just a phase, it was who he was. He craved real, spontaneous moments. The world around him was becoming more and more artificial. The shows in Vegas were a perfect example. Every note was planned, every move was choreographed, every bead of sweat seemed to be part of the performance. The prankster side of him was a release valve. It was his way of reminding himself and the people around him that none of this was as serious as it seemed. It was his way of staying sane. So, picture it. It's August 26th, 1969. The midnight show at the International Hotel in Las Vegas. The room is packed. The energy is electric. He's on stage, in his element. He's singing the hits. He's charming the crowd. He's doing what he does best. The band is tight. The orchestra swells. Everything is perfect. Then he decides to sing a particular song. It wasn't a rock and roll number. It was the opposite. It was a classic ballad, old-fashioned even then. It was a song of heartbreak, of quiet desperation. The kind of song you sing late at night when you're all alone. It's deeply sentimental. It's pure melodrama, and it has a very unusual feature for a pop song. In the middle of it, the music drops down low, and he doesn't sing. So he speaks, he delivers a monologue. It's like a little scene from a play right in the middle of a concert. It's all about a man on a stage, looking out at the audience, feeling empty, comparing his life to a performance where he plays to an empty house. To pull this off, you have to be completely invested. You have to be sincere, or you have to sell the drama. Any hint of a smile, any crack in the voice, and the whole thing falls apart. It's a high-wire act. The audience has to believe your heartbreak. He starts the song. His voice is beautiful, rich, deep, full of emotion. He sings the first verse, and the crowd is silent, hanging on every word. He's got them in the palm of his hand. He's the consummate professional. The king is in his castle, and everything is under control. The music softens. The moment for the spoken part arrives. The spotlight is on him. The orchestra is just a whisper in the background. It is dead silent in that massive showroom. You could hear a pin drop. He begins the monologue. His voice is serious, measured, full of pathos. "I wonder if you're lonesome tonight," he begins. He talks about the stage, the emptiness. He's acting and he's doing a great job, but something is happening just out of the main spotlight. Something he can see, but the audience can't. One of his backup singers, a woman named Sissy Houston, had been doing her job perfectly all night. But in this moment of quiet drama, something she did caught his eye. When he spoke the line, "Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there?" She was supposed to be looking serious, providing a solemn backdrop. Instead, maybe she was just tickled by the sheer melodrama of it all. She pursed her lips and puffed up her cheeks, trying to stifle a laugh. It was a tiny thing, a small, unprofessional crack in the otherwise perfect facade. And it was all he needed. He saw her, he tried to ignore it, he's a pro, he continued with a monologue. "Eyes, your heart filled with pain?" he asks, his voice still deep and serious. But you can hear a tiny tremor in it now, not of sadness, of something else. Something bubbling up from deep inside him. He's fighting it. You can hear him fighting it. He's trying to hold on to the character, the heartbroken narrator of the song. But the prankster, the kid from Tupelo, is taking over. The image of his singer trying not to laugh is too funny. The situation is too absurd. Here he is, the king of rock and roll in a white jumpsuit in Las Vegas, delivering this impossibly sappy monologue. The ridiculousness of it all hits him at once. He gets to the next line. "Shall I come back again?" And that's it. The dam breaks. It doesn't start with a giggle, it starts with a snort. A loud, undignified snort that is picked up perfectly by the microphone. The audience stirs. Oh, what was that? Then, a choked sound. He's trying to turn a laugh into a cough. It doesn't work. Then comes the laugh. It's not a small chuckle. It's a full-throated, deep, uncontrollable belly laugh. The kind of laugh that makes your eyes water and your stomach hurt. He doubles over. The serious, heartbroken man from the song is gone. In his place is just a guy who has completely lost it. The band, being the pros they are, keeps playing. They're trying to hold the song together, hoping he'll recover. But there's no hope. He's too far gone. He tries to get back to the lyrics, but he can't. He sings a line, and it comes out as a squeak, immediately followed by another wave of laughter. The audience is confused for a second, and then they get it. They start laughing with him. The entire showroom, which was a temple of silent adoration moments before, is now filled with the sound of shared, joyous laughter. The tension is broken, the spell is shattered. He steps back to the microphone, wiping tears from his eyes. He's still laughing so hard he can barely speak. He looks over at Sissy Houston, the instigator, and points at her. He's not mad, he's delighted. He tries to finish the song, but it's hopeless. He changes the lyrics. Instead of the dramatic ending, he just sort of mumbles into the mic, "Oh, I'm so sorry," still giggling. He sings a bit more, his voice cracking with laughter. The song, for all intents and purposes, is ruined. It collapses into a heap of giggles and applause. When the music finally ends, the audience erupts. They're not disappointed that he messed up the song. They're thrilled. They just saw something real. They saw the mask fall, they saw the man behind the legend. For a few minutes, he wasn't an icon. He was just a guy who got the giggles at work. That performance was recorded as all the shows were. Normally, a take like that would be buried. It was a mistake, an unprofessional moment. It was the opposite of the slick, perfect product that Las Vegas was all about. But somehow, a copy of that recording got out. It started to circulate among fans. On bootleg tapes and records, it was a piece of forbidden fruit. It was called the Lawing version. It became an underground classic. People treasured it more than the perfectly polished studio recording. Why? Why would a ruined song become so beloved? Because it was human. The official studio version is a masterpiece of vocal control and production. It's technically perfect, but it's also a little cold. It's a performance. The laughing version is not a performance. It's an event. It's a moment in time. Listening to it, you are right there in the room with him. You can feel the tension as he tries to stay serious. You can hear the exact moment he loses the battle with his own sense of humor. His laugh isn't a performance laugh. It's genuine. It's infectious. You can't listen to it without smiling yourself. It reveals so much about him. It shows that he didn't always take himself so seriously. It shows that he could be goofy and unprofessional. It shows that even at the height of his fame, trapped in the Vegas machine, the fun-loving kid was still in there, looking for a way out. The story gets even better. The prank wasn't just that one moment with the backup singer. The prank evolved. Elvis and his bandmates were a tight-knit group, and they loved to mess with each other on stage. Once they knew this particular song was his weak spot, they would intentionally try to make him laugh during the monologue. His close friend and band member Charlie Hodge was a master at this. Charlie would do anything to get him to crack. One night, during that dramatic spoken part, Elvis opened his eyes to see Charlie holding a bald wig on top of a broom handle, peeking out from behind a speaker. Another night, it might be a rubber chicken. They were constantly trying to sabotage the song's seriousness, and more often than not, they succeeded. The laughing version that became most famous, the one from that 1969 show, captured the first time he really broke. It was the original Sin, but it became a running gag, a bit of fun that he and the band shared, a way to break the monotony of the Vegas run. This one, Ruined Take, tells us more about him than a dozen perfect ones. The perfect recordings show us the artist, the legend, the icon, and that's all fine, but the messed up one, that shows us the man. A man who could be moved to uncontrollable laughter by something as simple as a funny face. In a world where celebrities are carefully managed and their images are meticulously crafted, a moment like this feels like a breath of fresh air. It's a reminder that behind the publicity photos and the hit records are real people. People who have inside jokes, people who laugh at inappropriate times, people who can find humor in the most serious of moments. The prank was simple, it wasn't elaborate, it was just a shared moment of silliness. But it ended up creating something far more lasting and meaningful than another flawless performance. It created a connection. It let the fans in on the joke. It made the king feel a little less like royalty and a little more like one of us. It's a beautiful thing, really. He set out to sing a song about loneliness and ended up creating a recording that is pure shared joy. He tried to be serious and ended up being profoundly, wonderfully human. He may have ruined the song in that moment, but he created a legend. And the song, the one he couldn't get through without collapsing into a fit of giggles, the one that became a testament to his playful spirit. The name of that song is Are You Lonesome Tonight?